C-Doc Again is brought to you by Hackensack Brewing Company and their Imperial Pilsner Auga, which was created in honor of the legendary DJs The Awesome 2. It's also brought to you by Chuck D Spit Slam Record Label Group. The Spit Slam Record Label Group, a Chuck D situation. Catch us on your favorite streaming platform, on Bandcamp, or visit our official web store at spitslamrecords.com. All releases are available digitally or on CD, with select titles available on vinyl and cassette. The Spit Slam Record Label Group. Throwback to the future sound.
It's C-Doc again.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. What's up, everybody? It's C-Doc again. Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Hope everybody is doing well out there. Welcome to the show. Hope everyone. For everybody tuning in tonight, instead of watching the bozo, salute. Thanks for joining us. Because, you can see clips of him shitting his pants on live TV some other time. They'll be there forever on the internet. But in the meantime, in between time, we're going to talk some hip-hop goodness. First up, I'm pressing wrong buttons here. My cohorts, co-hosts, co-conspirators, the first of which got her start in classic rap radio at the first 24-hour all-hip-hop station, KDAY, in Los Angeles. The lady from the heyday of K-Day, J.O. Jizzy.
What's happening?
Peace through the eyes, huh?
Yep.
You put them together like that, it's almost like this.
West Side.
There you go.
Exactly.
How's things, J.O.J.?
We're doing what it does.
Exactly. And that's all you can do.
That's it. That's all I got.
Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed. Also joining us tonight, the man who has one of the dopest accounts on Instagram. If you don't follow him, you're a sucker. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ultramag 7.
What up? Okay. Your yeah. Was that a Earth, Wind, and Fire reference? Was that?
It was actually Oaktown 357.
Okay.
I was gonna say.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of the that live part with Earth, Wind, and yeah. Clap your hands, everybody. That thing.
Nope. That's good too.
Yeah.
Good too. Yeah. I thought of the Oaktown 357 earlier today, and I was like, oh, that'll be so dumb. I'll do that. Okay.
Hey, all right. I like Oaktown 357.
Not that the song is dumb, but me saying it like that would be dumb. But yeah, exactly. Vashon's in the house. What up?
Vashon.
Back when they were
Happening, Vashon.
Vengeant. And of course, Don Key, Dale D. All right.
Don Key never leaves. He's on 24-hour duty.
Exactly.
I think he stays in the comments.
Yes,
the entire time, whether we're here or not.
Yep.
Yeah.
So our man Flatline is on vacation tonight, so it'll be the three amigos, plus our extra special guest who's in the house. We're gonna jump into it. And
he could be another amigo.
As well, yeah, of course. I mean, he's unique, right?
He is.
He's Q unique
of himself. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen from the Arsonists, please welcome Q Unique.
That was great.
I'm glad you think so. You never know, man. It's just, sometimes it can go completely off the rails.
It's a toss-up.
Yeah.
Loved every second of it.
Yep. How are things tonight, sir?
everything is flowing, man. A bunch of like, real life shit hit, and at the same time, what I'm doing musically is moving forward. So it's like it's a strange balance and juggle of not letting real life consume me, and at the same time trying to stay balanced with the I hate using the word industry, the business. I don't know.
Right. Yes. With music.
Yeah, with music.
Yeah. Yes.
Music consumption.
Yeah, man. Oh boy. It's I totally understand, because I kind of had one of those days myself in a different way than you did. Yours was a little, more intense than mine. But yes, it was an intersection of all things, life crashing into.
Right. Exactly.
And then it's like, oh, I got to do my show too. Oh.
Yeah, Jenny.
Tuesday.
Jenny sent me an email. I was like, so Wednesday, right? She's like, no, today. I'm like, oh shit. Yeah.
I was like, wow, how in the hell did we miss that?
That's real life throwing a curveball at me. That's what that is.
Yes. Okay, so the new music, does it have anything to do with is it connected to the single that you have out that you dropped?
Yes.
In January.
So I'll try to make this this long story as short as I possibly can.
You can make it as long as you want, bro. It's all good.
So a few years ago, I was at a crossroad with Q Unique, and I wasn't sure what I was looking at as far as what we just said, the business and me putting out music and where things were going. And, no matter how much some of us want to say, oh, I do this for the love and the passion, it's like, it's still a business at the end of the day. And, and if you've been doing this for as long as a lot of us have, you start to just look at the surroundings and see all of the circus and the goodness of it all. I don't lean on one side and say, oh, it's all terrible, like an old man, get off my lawn. I don't do that. But
right.
But there is a lot to look at when you see the circus, and you're like, I thought I'd be surprised, and yet it still surprises me with the nonsense. It's like it just never stops. And so I hit this crossroad where I was confused about moving forward in hip hop, because I'm a multi-genre, so I do rock and I do hip hop. Right. Now, when it comes to rock is a different animal. There's a lot of similarities, but rock has just a different way of presenting itself. And it has a different respect level for its elders. And there's a whole lot of things that rock does that hip hop just kind of like loses itself in the ice and the money and whatever have you. And so when I was at that crossroad, one of my band members, who happens to be the bass player from Korn, Fieldy, he was listening to me complain about it, and he was like, you can't stop doing Q Unique. He was like, what you do with rock is fine, that's great, but what you do as Q Unique is a legacy thing, and it's so important to so many people that you can't shut that down. You have to figure out what it is that's bothering you, fix it, and move forward. Yeah. And when he said that, it was like, oh, okay. And then I happened to be talking to Crazy Legs, and he put me. So wait, first it started with Eclipse and Ill Bill. Once I had that conversation, Eclipse and Ill Bill pointed me in the direction of Soul Spasm Records.
Okay.
And what I did with Soul Spasm was I told them that I wasn't happy with the way my catalog looked in public. There's a lot of nonsense on it. There's a lot of stuff that I got caught up in trying to find my way along the way with mixtapes and all that stupidity. Yeah. And I really wanted, for me, some people, I got to premise that because everybody's so fucking sensitive. It's like, I got to premise that by saying, for me,
yes,
the thing was a bit of a nonsense move for me. And so when I went to Soul Spasm, I was like, I want to pull down all the mixtapes, and what I'll do is I'll go through them, and if there's anything that I could salvage, I'll reproduce it, fix it, and we'll put it out as like a series of things, and we'll also release new albums along the way. And the guys at Soul Spasm, they helped me clean up my entire catalog, and that lifted a burden off of me, because I was looking at something that when I had to go through it, my stomach was turning because I was like, I can't believe I said 90% of this shit. Like, what was I thinking? And, you know, it's a thing where what people don't understand is that when the Arsonists ended, it was devastating to all members, to all members of the Arsonists. We were tripping because we were like, we had something that was special to us, and we self-destructed and ruined everything. And you know, when you really lose it, it's that old saying, you never know what you lost and what you lose until you lost it, or whatever. Yeah. And that's how it felt. And so I was alone, and each member was alone trying to figure out, okay, where am I going to go now? We've been doing this for so long. We were on tour all the time, and now it's dead. And then that's when Ill Bill brought me into his camp, and it was a great gesture, and it changed a lot of how I approached music. But the problem that I had, and me and Ill Bill just spoke about this, was that I found myself in a place where I was trying to fit in to their mold. That's why when people listen to the first album, they're like, man, Q's really angry all of a sudden. Doesn't sound like the Arsonists. And it's because what Bill and Necro and Gore and the rest of the squad, Bach, what they did was, it was already part of their system. And I just wanted to fit into another crew, and that was the crew that invited me. And so I didn't just try to fit in. I tried to like go full idiot. Like when I reviewed a lot of the stuff I was saying, like rhyme wise during the time I was with them, I was like, what happened? Like, how did I get that lost? And so starting with Soul Spasm, we cleaned up, we got rid of a lot of crap. I reproduced a lot of things, gave them 2 new albums. That worked out well. The first one I produced, it featured Fieldy on bass, Wov from POD on drumming on one of them. And then the follow-up album, which was Royal Blood, I did with Jake Palumbo and DJ Presta One. And I was really happy with those 2 albums and the 2 Legacy Series things. And then Crazy Legs told me to speak to Dove. For those that know who Dove is, she's been in the game for a minute, and she started out in PR. Now she's more of like a DSP YouTube like expert. And then she came into my life and started helping me understand how this whole like YouTube thing really works. So now when you see the productivity of me doing all of these like story videos and extra little verses on shorts, that's all Dove's work, just telling me, you know, you have to do this. This should be your new practice, along with putting out music. And then she got me signed to Viper Records, and that's where we're at now. And the first single that I did with them is It's Not Over. Right. And the musician that I'm working with used to be the keyboard player for Korn, Ghost, and Everlast. Wow. And he and I worked on a few tracks together, because one of the things that Viper wasn't really hype on was doing more music with samples. So I knew that Zach Baird, who was the keyboard player, I knew that he was just really that good that he could play something and give it that feel where you can't really tell unless you ask, is that a sample or is that like a real dude? And it's actually him playing. So I'm sorry for blathering on.
No. It's what we live for. It's what we live for. We love the details.
That's what's up. Thank you.
Yeah.
I thought It's Not Over as a sample. I'm listening to it. I'm like, you know.
That's Zach. That's Zach playing piano, upright bass. The only sample that's loop, it's the drums that I thought, you know, give it that, for me, that boom bap love by sampling some crusty breakbeat stuff. So I think the first single worked out well. I just handed in the second single to mastering right now, and on this new single, I'm trilingual rapping. So I'm rapping in English, Spanish, and Italian, because I'm Puerto Rican Italian. And I think it's the first of its kind. I don't know. There's so many rap songs on the planet that it's kind of hard to gauge who did what first, but I'm excited about it.
That's dope.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, we will get into As the World Burns.
Oh, yes. 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 We just celebrated 25 years of As the World Burns.
Crazy.
And 20 years of Vengeance is Mine. Both of them the same year. Yeah, insane. You know, and the fact that I made it when I was 10 years old. I hate telling people 25 years because then they're like, really? How long have you been doing this shit?
Yeah, right? Like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm the youngest member of the Arsonists. No, I'm not.
Hey, that's swell, right? Swell. Yeah, swell.
Damn it, swell.
Shout out to Donald D in the house, the legendary Donald D and the B-Boys. Yep.
Donald D.
Real quick before we go back,
Yes.
I do want to talk about, because it's interesting that you took the care in going back to clean up, so to speak, and revise your catalog. That's kind of a rarity. I don't think a lot of artists
want to hear how crazy I am about that. I rewrote 4 songs on Vengeance is Mine because I can't co-sign misogynistic lyrics. That's where my soul is at. I can't do it. I did it out of stupidity and trying to fit in. It was a stupid move, and I'm not proud of it. And it's something where, you know, it's funny because the room kind of split on that one. Like when I told certain homies, hey, I'm going back to Vengeance is Mine, and there's certain songs that are not going to be the same when I remaster it. And certain homies was like, nah, that's a testimony. It shows where you were and where you're at now. And then like Destroy was like, thank you for doing that. Like that, it meant a lot to him. Yeah. My boy, and somebody who's he has a daughter. And so I was like, for me personally, I was just in a weird place when I wrote a lot of that stuff, trying to fit into somebody else's mold. And so I have to take the blame for it. It was my ignorance that put me there. Yeah. But for me, I just couldn't move forward in life, no matter, not knowing what tomorrow may bring, knowing that, that shit like that was floating out from me, from my soul. I can't. Each individual has their right to speak how they want to speak. I'm not here to be an artist police officer or anything like that. But for me, it just doesn't work. It doesn't work.
No, that's really interesting because again, I don't think maybe there are other, but I don't know if any other artists have gone to that length to organize their catalog, reorganize and revise it in such a way. That's really interesting.
Yeah, no, I've never heard of that, but I have heard like Salt and Pepper. They refused to do certain songs. Right.
Yes. Prince was like that too.
Prince was like that too. Yep.
He stopped doing the nasty shit.
Yep.
And Yag Fu Front.
Wow.
Will never do track 15 in public.
Yeah, it's awkward.
It is, right?
It is. But it's funny because I was just at a show with Rhetmatic and there was an OG MC on stage, and he way older and he felt comfortable doing the wild shit. So it's like it's definitely on a personal basis. That's why I don't try to like preach too much about it. I just feel like this is what I feel. If people want change in what we're looking at, right? The political climate, the class climate, everything, then I believe it's our response. We tend to think, oh, it's just music. It's like, nah, man, music has a serious effect on people. It really does. And I believe that. If I could go to a metal show and hear a guitar riff that makes me want to jump into a circle and just flail my arms around because of what I'm hearing and what I'm receiving, that just goes to show you how crazy it is. Or I remember times when I was a kid and I'd have Public Enemy in my headphones and I would feel this anger stirring in me as I was looking at other people on the train, just thinking about like issues that bother me, like racism or things like of that nature, and just feeling it, like because of what Chuck was transmitting to my soul, or Brother Jay from the X Clan or KRS, those things would get me so like, because their information would just get me angry at the opposition. So I know the power of music. So I knew that I was careless, and I wanted to do my best to be careful moving forward.
Yeah. Wow. That's really dope. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Really cool.
Thank you.
All right.
I'm even taking it to the point where I still talk street shit. That's where I'm from.
Yeah, of course.
I'm from Brooklyn. I've seen a lot of crazy shit, and I still talk that, but it's almost like I'm trying to emulate something from Rakim, where I'm trying to limit cuss words as well.
Mm-hmm.
Try to limit that. I think we could be creative without having to reach into that bag heavily. We can use it, but you don't need to reach into it heavily.
Yeah.
Right.
That's how I feel.
Yeah. I think it's more creative.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or to emphasize. If you got to emphasize a point,
yeah, sure.
You got to bring it home with that. That's fine. But if you're going to do it like every third word, then it's like, hey, homie, maybe you should read a book and learn some new words.
It shows somebody who that's all they can do. It shows a lack of.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
Malcolm X said it. Malcolm X said that a man only curses so much because he just doesn't have the vocabulary. He just doesn't have it. So for me, I have somewhat of a cool vocabulary, I like to think. So, I'll reach for other words. That's it.
So let's talk about growing up.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. What was the gateway? I call it the gateway drug. What was the gateway drug to hip hop? What drew you in, and what was the thing or the things that led to you like? Okay, wait. Even before we get to that, I gotta ask because I keep looking. What's on your sweatshirt?
Illmatic.
All right. I had yes.
Okay.
I couldn't tell from back a little bit. Okay.
Yes,
had
sir.
to know. All right. Anyway, so yes. What was the beginning for you? What really got you into it?
Red Alert. That's the easiest answer. I came from, I was in a broken home, had to live with my grandmother, and she lived in the Bronx. And a lot of the time, especially on a Friday night when I was a little kid, I didn't have really much to do. So my dad gave me like this broken radio. Couldn't really do much with it, but you could like tune and go to different stations. And at that time, Red Alert's Friday night, Saturday night mixes were like, that was like, I don't know, like a religious experience for me, Just, he was playing stuff that just, to this day, like there's certain songs that I still remember that to other people, if I said, do you remember Tony T, My Thoughts Expressing Them? They'd be like, nah, I don't remember that. That was like a Red Alert, like regular spin. These are like deep underground cuts during that time. And even though it was an ugly time, the crack era, musically, it was the most incredible time in hip hop. That, to me, chapter 1 is always going to be the Wild Style, Grandmaster Flash stuff, and then it leads into Run DMC. And then chapter 2 to me is my favorites, is KRS and Rakim and G-Rap and Kane. And so when Red Alert was just on all cylinders, just killing the game, I was just, he was my teacher.
Mm-hmm.
So that is what started my whole like love. And, I still got Red Alert tapes, man, in a crate.
Right.
That's dope. That's dope.
So Red Alert definitely was the first one. And then fortunately for me, being in my grandmother's neighborhood, the whole story is kind of bugged out. It's kind of like being like a Forrest Gump of hip hop in a way. And I'll explain why. It's like, so Red Alert does that. And then I end up going to school with Crazy Legs' sister while I'm living with my grandmother. So Crazy Legs' sister takes my demo to Crazy Legs. Crazy Legs takes me under his wing, gets me my first 2 record deals. From there, I'm starting to meet dudes like Grandmaster Caz and Melly Mel and Theodore and Charlie Chase. And they're redefining. So here I am. I'm learning from Red Alert, but I don't really fully understand. I'm listening and learning. I'm listening to these songs and I'm learning. But Crazy Legs and them were the ones that said, you're doing this because of these reasons. This is what this is. This is hip hop this way. these are the elements. This is what happened. This is how this got here. This is why you feel the way you feel. And it just all made sense. And then in the beginning, it made me a little too hip hop militant. And then I kind of eased up after a while. Because those hip hop cops were a little annoying after a while. I was like, all right, homie, take it easy. So so then from there just spun out into me just exploring on my own. And then the Arsonist is like where all those lessons just really blossomed and made this beautiful thing that we did.
Yes. So okay. So I gotta ask because what I have this low-key obsession with Fondle 'em records. It's just that it's such what Bobbito did on his own. It was so dope.
Yes.
And all those records. And one of my favorites is The Session.
Yep.
That joint.
Thank you.
Bro. That joint is ridiculous.
Thank you.
So,
do you know that song was supposed to be an interlude for my solo album? Because the person who produced it, his name is Groovy Lou. It's not the Groovy Lou from Diddy's Parties. It's Groovy Lou. It's a different Groovy Lou. A different Groovy Lou that the other production credit he has is on the D&D project with Big Jazzo. He produced that track.
Okay, yeah.
So Groovy Lou and I had a group called the Nomads with a few other members that passed away. And he gave me that beat on a tape before the Arsonists. And he had told me, yo, this sounds like a cool interlude that we could just talk on. And I never agreed with him, but I didn't say anything. I just kept it.
Right.
And so when the Arsonists came to my house to record, I slapped the tape on and we just jumped right into it. Like, let's have a blast. Recorded it in my mom's house.
Oh, that's dope.
That's crazy.
So how did the Arsonists come together? How did the group?
So initially they were a crew called the Bushwick Bomb Squad, and I was in a group called the Nomads. The Nomads, we were a little ahead. We released a song called The Ultimate, produced by Groovy Lou. And, you know, we were doing little underground things here and there. And me and Destroy met up. I was training martial arts in the city because one of the members of the Nomads, his brother is a world champion, Fast Feet Fontanez. And Destroy came to the school one day with Tony Touch and Crazy Legs. I brought them there. And we ciphered. And it was the first time I ever heard Destroy rhyme. And it was the first time I ever heard anyone rhyme like that. It was like I can't even explain. It's like, you know, that Muppet Animal? If Animal could rap, that's what I saw. It was just pure insanity. We were trying to keep up with him. We were like, yo, did he just say that? Like it was crazy, the stuff he was saying. Like, I think he said, my mother eats government cheese. And he was saying, like, wow, it was funny. Like, it was funny stuff. Like, it was brilliant. And he and I met up again at a New York death row party at Jimmy's Bronx Cafe. And he was like, yo, you should roll through and come meet the fellas. And I was like, yeah, definitely. But before that, Tony Touch and Destroy and the Nomads, we ended up opening up for Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five. And I always tell D, like, want to talk hip hop? The first show you and I ever did together was open up for Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five. There's none, you can't get any more hip hop than that. Okay, you can't. You just can't top it. And then I went over there to meet them, and it was like within the hour, I knew that I was in the right place. I knew it. It was like, this is my tribe. I need to be a part of this. And then the session, we recorded Halloween in the session. And because of the Nomads, I was already connected with Bob, because Bob would invite the Nomads up. We'd always rhyme on his show.
Yeah.
And so Tony Touch took the demo that we did at the session to Bob. Bob played it. It ended up becoming the most requested demo of the year. And then Bob called me. He was like, what are y'all doing with this? And I was like, you know, we're trying to save up and probably put it out on our own. He was like, save your money. Let me put it out on Fondle 'em, and you guys just do the legwork. And I was like, of course.
Right.
And that was it. And that was it.
Wow. So is it safe to say that Destroy has always been on on
Without
15.
drugs. Without drugs. Isn't that impressive? It's the most craziest thing. But the thing is, people know him like that. And obviously, because he and I have been friends for a very long time, I know Angry Destroy. So I get, every time I'm doing something in music, he'll call me and he wants like a full report of what I'm doing, right? And if something isn't right, he'll just start, yo, Q, man, you got to get your shit together, man. Yo. And I'm like, yo, take it easy, man. I'm figuring it out, all right? Take it easy. Relax. So he'll scold me, you know, like all the time, but it's always in love, because to him, he wants to see me win, you know, with brothers. So it's like, I get it. It's the same with him. Like, you know how proud I am that he's on Sirius XM killing it, and with his show Off Your Gems and all of that. Like, to me, it's a beautiful thing to see, you know, my brother winning. So it's the same thing for him. He's like, yo, let's go. Come on, let's go. So if I ever say anything ignorant to him, he gets furious, man. It's a destroy y'all never seen before, man.
Oh man,
that's great.
Yeah.
So you guys did 2 singles, right?
We did 3 singles. No, we did 2 on Fondlem, 1 with MC Search. We did
right.
Did the Session, Halloween, Fondlem, and Blaze, Gimbo's Theme, and Flashback, all on Fondlem, and then we did Venom and Seed with MC Search and Eclipse on Searchlight.
Right. Okay. And then that was when you guys decided to put the album together?
We had already been, because there was so many members, recording was never an issue. Like, we're still sitting on so many like old demos and things of that nature. That was never the issue. It was more of where are we going to go with this? And Matador, what's fascinating about Matador is that they were the only label that, and this is an indie rock label, so a lot of it doesn't make sense. They were the only label that was like in the shadows watching. They saw us perform a couple of times. We didn't know. And then they went to Fat Beats and bought the singles and wanted to know what we were about, so that when they approached us, they knew everything, like listed out. And it was, for us, it was like, holy shit, that's like, and we were the ones that ended the Arsonist. If it was up to them, we probably still be putting out albums, because they were the perfect fit for us. Like, you know how normally like artists complain about labels? I can't say that I can complain about. They were on point with everything. Like, if you look at our press, if you look at how they got the album out, if you look at the campaigns that they put together, if you look at some of the shows that they got us on, everything, the booking, everything that they did was just perfect. And we were a little too young in the head to understand fully what it was that we were a part of. We didn't come into this business all Jay-Z'd up like entrepreneurs and all of that stuff. It was more like we came in like, yo, we want to rap. Let us rap. What's business? You got to know business now too? Okay. That's how it was, you know? And so that kind of like made a little mess for us, but we landed on our feet and everybody's still doing fine. Certain brothers aren't part of the game anymore. And that's fine too, as long as we're all still talking and we all got love for each other. It doesn't matter where we're at this point.
Yeah.
Right.
Matador was an interesting label.
Yeah.
At that time. I know I remember they put out some Large Pro stuff and
so we were the first rap group they signed, and then they got at Nonfiction.
Yeah.
Large Pro, and I think Dizzy. I can't think of it. I can't remember his name. And Mr. Len.
Yes.
There was a British rapper, Dizzy. I hate
Rascal.
Dizzy Rascal.
Dizzy Rascal. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
And I think at the end of it, Matador just realized that, you know, hip hop just wasn't for them. I think all of us overwhelmed that label. I think, you know, rappers' mentality sometimes could be a bit overwhelming. I'm sure you all know that. So it's like, you know, compared to like an indie rock group where they're just more quiet and just want to just go on tour. And,
right.
You know.
What are you talking about?
Some of the things we used to come up with, even now, I think about like, did we really tell them to try to get us on Hot 97? What the fuck, man? What were we thinking, man? Like, we didn't belong there. It's like, but that, I think, again, even though we knew who we were as arsonists, the landscape was just, we wanted to be bigger than what we were. And so we would look at those things in a naive sort of way. So if we saw what Jay or Big or Nas were doing, we were like, yeah, we want to do that too. Not knowing that the type of music that we were doing was actually geared for a different audience, a different planet, And so that's when I look at, Atmosphere or Vinnie Paz or, these really successful indie groups that didn't have to go that route. I'm like, oh, they were smart. They understood that wasn't the aim. We didn't get it. We didn't get it until after the fact.
Yeah,
right.
That was also a weird time too.
Yes,
for the hip hop and the transition, and
it split. It split.
Yeah.
Weird play, and I blame Diddy for that. And not in an angry way. So don't get me wrong. It was just his intention was to put a suit and tie on it, and our intention was to keep it in a hoodie.
Yeah.
So it's like when and the thing is, I thought we were alone in that idea, and then I just told Wordsworth, I was like, that the Source did an editorial. I saved the clip where they said hip hop is in this weird spectrum where on one side you have Puff Daddy, and on the other side you have the Arsonists. They wrote this in their editorial.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so when we saw that, we were like, oh shit. I mean, we thought it was cool, but we didn't realize how far apart from what was going on was. Yeah. I mean, they held us in a high regard, but it was definitely over there. It wasn't where all the shiny suits were, which we thought, for some reason, we thought we fit in. I don't know what we were thinking.
But to tell the truth, the shiny suits were goofy.
They were.
It was. Yeah.
It was weird. It was weird. I never understood it. And I mean, to each his own. Again, I guess you got to kind of like look, but if you look at hip hop today, I feel like there's a lot of simplistic, like when I look at Eminem or Kendrick, it looks like dudes that just throw on stuff from a sporting goods store and go on and kill it, right?
Right.
I don't see much of a label happening. So it's like, although Kendrick could be a little artsy sometimes, but fashion has been an interesting thing as of late. I struggle with the fashion part of hip hop anyway, so I'm not one to talk.
Hey, you got an Illmatic hoodie on. It's all good.
Right, but that's how I feel hip hop should be represented, but not everybody. Right?
Exactly. Look.
Right. Exactly.
I'm repping the home team tonight. So
there you go. Yeah. Matter of fact, I think under this, I got a this is homie from Strange. What's his name? Anyway.
Oh, dope.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
So that's dope.
So, I when it comes to hip hop now, my whole thing with fashion is I just try to it's the same thing with rock. Like, because I've been a part of the rock world for like 18 years, what I notice is like people wear their band shirts with pride. It's not like some kid that buys a Nirvana shirt and you'd be like, what's your favorite Nirvana song? And they're like, who's Nirvana? It's like, no. Like rock people, when they wear their shit, they know what they're wearing, and they won't wear a band that they don't have love for. They won't do that. And so what I try to push if you go and look at the videos that I do where I tell my stories, I'm trying to wear something so that when people see it, they're like, oh shit, Q has an Organized Confusion t-shirt on, or he has a Busta Rhymes t-shirt. I try to show love that way indirectly by wearing these things, because these things mean a lot. It's like I'm telling you a thought. Like, I love Illmatic,
Right.
So how did the rock thing happen? How did that?
You gotta blame Crazy Legs for that one again. Okay. Crazy Legs gets me my first 2 record deals, waits about 10 years, and then he goes, when MySpace was hot.
The MySpace days.
He goes, Q, why don't you get into that rock shit, man? I know you love rock. I know you better than anybody on this planet. How come you don't give it a shot? And when he said it, it was scary to me, because I was like, how would I put something like that together? I don't know any musicians like that right now in my life. And so he was like, go on MySpace and make a classified and ask people. And when I asked, I got flooded, like different bands that were interested in doing something, like indie bands, small bands. And I came across a band from Long Island. Their name was Unsound. What was interesting, they already had a rapper in the band, and I thought he was dope. It didn't make sense that they were willing to, like, homie even came to the meeting, the rapper, and I felt awkward. I was like, man, I feel like I'm stealing this kid's band. And he was like, nah, man, I want you to rock with them. And so they learned some Q Unique songs from Vengeance Is Mine. They did their rendition of it, and I happened to have been on the band's Warped Tour the year before with Nonfiction, and I already like got my feet wet by Caves from Lords of Brooklyn had brought me on stage, and I remember the way I felt having a band like rock while I was rapping. It just felt incredible. Yeah. And so when I brought these kids out to rock with me, it was it just got such a good response. So much so that people, when they were buying my CD, they thought they were getting what they were seeing on stage on the CD. And I'm like, yep, that's what's on the CD. But and so from there, I started writing demos with them, and then the world just shifted. What's weird is I have a friend of mine. His name is Vinny Ponte. He's a pro skater from back in the day from New York, and he would occasionally take me to hang out with Wu-Tang. So in my mind, I'm thinking it'll be any moment now, and I'll be the 10th member of Wu-Tang. I was really tripping. Oh, excuse me. I was tripping, thinking that they were going to put me in Wu-Tang. So I'm like vibing. I did a song with Raekwon, hanging out. Like, it was just trippy to me. And then in the middle of that, I get a call from, his name is Bobby Ruiz. He owns a clothing company called Tribal Gear in San Diego. And he goes, hey, would you ever be interested in doing a song with Fieldy from Korn? And my response was like, sure. Like, I wasn't even paying attention. I knew who they were, but not to the extent, because I was so like Wu-Tang and paying attention to what I was doing and everything else hip hop. So I wasn't really thinking about who they were, what their impact was. Plus, truth be told, I'm a grunge guy. So I'm an Alice in Chains, Nirvana, Pearl Jam, Screaming Trees. Like, that's my core when it comes to
Screaming Trees. Wow.
I love grunge. Well, I know it's not really called grunge after having conversations with some of those guys, but for the sake of people understanding.
Yeah.
I'm a grunge person. Mm-hmm. So I missed the whole new metal thing.
Right.
I didn't get it like everybody else did. I appreciated it, but I didn't get it. So I'm like, yeah, sure. So I buy my own ticket. I fly out, and Bobby picks me up at the airport. We drive over to this guy's house. I never seen his MTV Cribs. I didn't know anything about him. We roll up, and I look up, and I see this fucking mansion. And I look at Bobby. I'm like, how much money did these people make? What did I miss? And I'm looking, and he comes out front door. He's like, hey, what's up, dude? I'm like, what's up, man? And he goes, you want to go to Del Taco? And I'm like, what's a Del Taco? I'm from New York. I never heard of that. And so he takes me to this fast food place. And I'm like, oh, he's taking me to fast food? Okay.
There you go. Jenny's got it.
I didn't know what that was. So what was interesting was the chemistry was instant. The same day we wrote our first song, which was Killing Myself to Live. I played all the keys, programmed the drums, and he played bass and guitar. And it's a rap song, because at that time we didn't know what was about to happen, but it happened instant. It was crazy. Didn't make any sense, because I've been in studios with other rappers and struggled, like, oh my God, we got to do this again. But with him, it was just like, boom, here we are. We got the song done. And what was fascinating, my whole attitude was so weird about it, because it was almost like I kept on putting what I was seeing in the back of my head as if I wasn't really impressed, or as if I didn't think anything of it. And so a funny story is that I had brought Presto and this engineer to help with the session. And when we were done, Fieldy was like, yo, y'all could kick it here. You know, I got like 15 rooms in this mansion. You could pick a room and just hang. And so I was like, okay, cool. And he brings me to a room, but I have my own bathroom. It's a dope room. And so I was like, yo, thank you, bro. And when he closed the door, I took the chair from the desk and I wedged it on the doorknob. I was like, I don't know these weird metal motherfuckers trying to do some devil shit on me or something. I was a little scared because I didn't know him. So I was like, I don't know. You know, you think all the stereotypes, metal dude with blood and gold and all that. I'm like, I don't know what he's gonna do. I always tell that story because he thinks it's some music. So the next day, as we're packing up, he goes, yo, man, I really, really, listened to your album. He was talking about Vengeance. He was like, you're really good at what you do. Do me a favor, though. On this track that we're doing together, don't cuss on it. And I was like, okay. And it was a dope challenge. But what's funny is when I went home, I took the session, I put it in the back of my desk, closed the drawer, and totally forgot that we did the song. Like just carried on as if nothing happened. And then Bobby called me and he was like, yo, you got that song? And I was like, oh shit. Yeah. I'll get it done. So when I got it done, Fieldy ended up in New York. They Korn was doing the VMAs or something. And I picked him up in my hoopty, which was embarrassing. Because he has like friends and all types of shit. He's driving in my Ford Focus at the time. So we're playing the song, and he's like grooving to it. He's like, "Yo, what's your schedule like?" I'm like, "I'm free right now. I just finished touring for Vengeance Is Mine. Nothing really on the schedule." It's like, "You want to come on tour with Korn?" And then for the next 16 years, I was on tour with Korn, writing StillWell. And growing as a musician, going to vocal coaches, learning how to sing proper, learning how to play guitar. And it just transformed. It just changed my life. It was a life changing, not just musically, just like it just brought. And it's funny because the truth is the first musical person in my life is my mother. My mother was a singer songwriter who used to go to cafes and churches all over New York City with my uncle and play like this hippie style of rock. And so I was always at their rehearsals as a baby, as a child. I would just watch them. And my uncle taught me my first drum program on an actual drum kit. And so rock was always the first love. And so hip hop came along. So it was like it reinvigorated me, and his encouragement along with the rest of Korn and then POD, because Wub from POD is the drummer of my band. Their encouragement just gave me this power to just continue to move forward no matter what. And now I've been doing it. I got 4 StillWell albums. I got a metal EP with Rodimus. I got another band called Soul Gun. I just haven't stopped and continue to grow. And now I fully understand what it is.
Yeah.
So,
wow.
That's
so dope.
Yes, sir. My first it was an arena tour, bro. That story in itself was nuts. Imagine that. Like, and the thing is, so StillWell, we have our first album, and Fieldy's like, hey, Korn, we're doing this arena tour with Disturbed. These are all big multi-platinum bands, and they're putting my band StillWell in the front. And I'm looking at Fieldy like, hey, I've never actually sang in front of an audience before. Maybe we should go to a bar where there's nobody there and let me work out some kinks. And he's like, you'll be fine.
But Disturbed, that guy's voice is ridiculous.
Yes. So I'm competing with him, Jonathan Davis, the Lejean from Seven Dust. I'm competing with not competing, but I'm in a lineup.
Right.
With you guys.
Right.
So the first few shows, maybe the first 3 or 4, I'm shitting. So and I'm not doing good. I'm like I'm scared. Like there's like 10 to 20,000 people in front of me, and I'm not rapping. So it's like, this is foreign. And I'm like, all right. And then somebody was kind enough to tell Fieldy, hey, you guys should drop the tuning, give Q some headspace so that he can attack this better, and it worked. And then from there on, it was like a learning. Like I was learning, growing, and getting better at it.
Yeah.
And I haven't stopped. As a matter of fact, going back to Viper and Dove, when they gave me the record deal, they gave me a dual signing. They signed me as Q the rapper and Q with a rock band separately.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
Interesting.
Shogun is the name of the band. SOLGUN.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Thank you.
Does that help you? That experience help you write better when you're rhyming? Does the rock? Yeah.
Yes, because now what happens is with rock, for me, and it's something that I've not only learned with Korn, but with like somebody like Dave Grohl, right? When you listen to a Foo Fighters song, the chorus always stands out. It's very hooky. And so that technique is something that I strive for. It's called bumper sticker music. So that's what I want to write. So if you ever like get a chance to like listen, the album I usually tell people to listen to is StillWell's Supernatural Miracle. To me, that's when I was at a good place writing wise. And I wrote like the guitar parts and all the lyrics and vocal arrangements. And that's when I was really getting into that bumper sticker stuff. And now moving forward, all my music has to be like, it has to be hooky. And so I was able to take that technique and bring it over to Q Unique. And so when you listen to, a lot of the newer stuff, I'm more conscious about hooking you in with something to make sure that you walk away repeating it. So
Right.
Yeah.
I just have to say, because you brought up Disturbed, I just saw a video of him singing "Sound of Silence."
Yes, he covered that. Yep, and they're about to go on tour right now. Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
God.
What's crazy is they were really gracious. Like I remember how cool they were, because you never know when somebody's that successful. You don't know what you're gonna get, man.
Yeah.
And we all know this. We all been in this business. You don't know. You don't want to meet your heroes sometimes. And they were awesome, man. They were. A matter of fact, almost everybody I met in rock has been awesome. I can't say that for hip hop, unfortunately, but almost everybody I met in the rock genre has been pretty much cool.
I can agree with that, because walking in, I spent 48 hours in Ozzy Osbourne's bathroom at his house. And you have never met a funnier,
I can imagine,
more pleasant person who does not take himself seriously.
No, he's chilling.
I had to dress his dogs for their Christmas special. And I had 14 of his dogs dressed, and one of them was dressed in a Santa outfit.
Perfect.
And we walked the dog. This is a puppy, a bulldog puppy, whose name was Preston.
Of course it was.
And we walked him out to the studio, and Ozzy lost his mind. Absolutely lost his mind, thought it was the cutest thing he'd ever seen. And then they tried to tell him, you need to sing this. He says, I'm not singing any damn Christmas carol. I'm the Prince of motherfucking Darkness.
Good for him.
And
I agree.
And 2 seconds later, he was singing the damn Christmas carol. But he just doesn't take himself seriously. He always, how can I do that? I'm the Prince of Darkness. No, you're not. You're
just Oswald.
Yeah, you're just Ozzy. Come on.
Yeah, a lot of the metal dudes I've met have been cool. Even like I remember one time I had to work with the bass player from Metallica. We were doing a song for Chi, who passed away from the Deftones, and we were doing like a group effort where a bunch of different musicians from metal contributed to the track. And even he was awesome. And being backstage with Metallica, like they were so chill. Even though I didn't personally approach any of them, because it is intimidating to see a guy like James Hetfield and not want to say anything. You don't want to say anything. You just want to just watch and see what his mannerisms are. Because I remember we were backstage and I'm walking with Fieldy and James calls Fieldy over. Hey, Fieldy, come here. And Fieldy goes, holy shit, he's calling me. He goes, come walk with me. I was like, nah, I ain't walking. I don't want to talk to him. I let him walk by himself. Fuck that. Because you don't know. You don't know. You don't want to give a person an opportunity to be a jerk. So I read the room really quick. I was like, nah. I got nothing to say to him. What am I going to say? Right. Love your band. Yeah, right. Never heard that before, have you? And another one funny story is we was with Les Claypool from Primus.
Yeah.
And Les brings me and Fieldy backstage, and we go in his room, and he has a whole spread with I guess he had a beverage company. So everything, all the labels had his face and his name on it. And so he goes, you guys want some wine? You know, the way he talks. And we're like, okay. And he pours it in little plastic cups. I'm trying to be quiet. I'm trying not to say anything. I'm letting them talk. I don't even want to be seen. I just want to be a fly on the wall. And of course, it's never going to go that way. Right. So he goes, have a sip. And, we do the cheers thing, and I sip, and it goes down the wrong way. And I'm coughing. and Les is staring at me like, and I'm like, I'm losing it, trying to be quiet. I'm just trying to be quiet. I'm like, oh, it's smooth. It tastes great. Oh my God. I'm tearing. Like, stupidest shit ever.
You mentioned earlier about the way that, because I'm always curious about this, or telling people about this. Not curious. I don't know what the hell I'm saying. Anyway, curious about the way that rock treats its past versus the way hip hop does. Yes. Chuck and I talk about that all the time. And
you see how Jay just said Ozzy doesn't take himself seriously?
Yeah.
But in the metal community, that's God.
Yeah.
No matter how wild he looks, no matter how drugged out he looks, no matter how sick he looks, no matter if his latest album isn't a hit, God.
Yeah.
I think Rakim should be treated that way. I think Melly Mel should be treated that way. I think Grandmaster Cash should be, but they're not. That's the problem. That's a disconnect. That's not good. Yep. And the other argument that I have, and I've been able to defend myself, is when people say, when I bring up Rakim, for instance, and somebody will say, "Oh, that's an old man argument. That's an old man." I was like, "Yes, right. He's an old man." But when he wrote "Paid in Full," he was 17 years old. Yeah, that. Top it. Only a 17-year-old that did that.
Yeah.
But don't you think there's a difference? There's an amount of respect, like say for Ozzy Osbourne, because he's still, up until now, because now he's canceled everything. He was still doing it.
But Rakim
and all those guys,
right? I mean, certain guys. To me, KRS. I went to see KRS recently, and out of the Mount Rushmore that I have in my head, which is KRS, Kane, Coogee Rap, and Rakim, KRS still has a way of making you leave a show with such a level of energy, and he's gonna be 60, and so you're looking at him, and you're like, how is it that he's so still connected to his mission statement? He never veered off the path. He might have made some musical choices that some people might not agree with. That's production, that's whatever. But go to his show. Go to his show and see what he does. And for me, KRS is one of the most important rappers to my career because of the influence. And so you got to imagine that when I went to see him recently and he brought me on stage, I thought I was going to explode. I thought I was going to just disintegrate. I was just in like I was tripping, that I grabbed him by his shoulder with an eagle claw like grip, screaming in his face like, Chris, that was amazing. And he's looking at me like, yeah, okay, take it easy. But it was just like, he just has that vibe. And I think that's something you can't teach at this point. He just, I don't know what it is about him and Kane. Kane, he like on stage, Kane is tight.
Mm-hmm. Kane is so dope.
Airtight.
Still so dope. Yep.
So to me, yes, you can say that Ozzy was still doing it, but if KRS had that same kind of support, we would probably be looking at him the same way. I just think that it's weird. The hip hop audience, in my opinion, has been programmed to let go of whatever's old.
Yeah,
that's why LL Cool J doesn't use the word old school. He uses classic.
Yeah.
Smart man.
right.
Smart.
They're
Because
extremely fickle. Everybody.
That's because they're programmed.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely.
Radio did that. Radio
Yep.
was always like, what's new? What's new? What? Give me your demo. Give me what you're working on. Give me the unfinished rap. I'll play it. And it's like, hey, man. And now what kind of bothers me is we hyper focus on one or two. And there's just way too many you just can't do that when there's just too many to look at. I just feel like when you look at what the narrative is and who everybody's paying attention to, one or two rappers, and it's like, it doesn't seem fair to me, man. Like that's terrible math. It's like everybody's doing something significant. We can't just keep on talking about the same I can't believe that the conversation is still Drake, Kendrick, J. Cole, and one other. I can't believe that that's all we can talk about.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not
and lists. Best of lists.
Right. So it's like it's just one of those things where it just after a while, it's like at first you're like, okay, I get it. And then after like a few years go by, you're like, we're still talking about the same four people. I don't know. How is this possible? Yeah. Are they that interesting that nobody else matters? Are y'all serious?
Yeah. Because I think that also leads to, sorry to cut you off. I think that also leads to the misconception that there's no great music being made anymore.
Hallelujah.
There's so much great music being made.
Yes. I had a debate with Kool Rock Ski from the Fat Boys because he was doing that. Oh, hip hop sucks. And I was like, that's a very general statement because there's a lot of hip hop. So who are you talking about? Are you just talking about radio? Are you just talking about who currently won a Grammy? Is that what you're talking about? Because that's not fair. And then he was like, blah, blah. And I was like, listen, let me give you a shopping list. And I gave him indie rapper, not just me. I didn't even put myself on the list. I was like Black Milk, Hieroglyphics, just giving him a list, making sure he's looking at the big picture.
Yeah.
Don't just look at Cardi B and say hip hop sucks. It's like that's one person, bro. That's right. That's one person that's making business moves. It's like, how could I determine? That's like me saying like Disturbed is just the only metal band. It's like, no, man, it's like 20 metal bands that are killing it right now. It's like but the metal audience understands that. That's the difference. They understand that. Even though they could be mean, Metallica sucks now after the Black. They do mean shit too. Let's not get it twisted.
Right.
But at the end of the day, they're not as narrow as we are. They're not.
Yeah.
They're just not. I've been in both worlds. They're not. They're ready to give. They'll even give every time Metallica comes around with a new album. They'll put an ear and they'll be like, all right, let's see what you got. Yeah. They won't just totally just dismiss it. And so, there's a difference. I don't know if it'll ever fix itself. And so I find myself just working on me.
Yeah.
Working on what I got to do, working on bettering what I'm putting out there, working on cleaning up my catalog. I'm just responsible for myself and whoever wants to be in that headspace. So if another rapper approached me and said, yo, I want to do what you do. I want to be in that headspace that you're in. I would give them some gems and let them figure it out for themselves or what works best for them. But, trying to fix what we're looking at, it looks difficult. And it looks like a crazy mountain to climb, the fact that Wu-Tang is going on their final tour, I think everyone should be excited about that.
Yeah.
But that's never going to happen. But there's an audience, there's a lot of people excited, but it's not everyone.
Yeah.
So, to be able to see the whole Wu, everyone on stage, people don't understand how difficult it is to make that happen. Because when they did New York State of Mind, not everybody was there. So it's like, we should be excited because it's Wu-Tang and what those brothers have done and the impact that they've made and how they changed everything. And the fact that even on a small detail that you could go to a Target and fucking buy a Wu-Tang shirt, to me, is mind-blowing.
Yeah.
That is insane.
Yeah.
That is insane to know that they made that kind of a splash, starting from Stretch and Bob. And now you could go to anywhere and get a Wu shirt and a pair of Wu socks.
Yep.
That's insane to me.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that is.
I have a Wu-Tang Christmas sweater.
There you go. See?
Yeah.
That's what I mean. And it's a beautiful thing to me because I adore Wu-Tang for what they've done, for their music, for their vibe, to stick into their guns. Everything about them is just so awesome. They've become easily one of the most important hip hop groups or just music groups to ever touch the earth.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yep.
So,
any plans since you mentioned the anniversaries this year? Any plans for those records?
We're working on a book for the Arsonists that's more like a photo book in history, just showing a lot of like moments captured on camera and just telling little stories here and there. And as far as Q Unique is concerned, I did a remixed, remastered, and some songs reapproached. That's been released with all the instrumentals and a couple of bonus cuts. And I think it's going to just stop there. People often ask, is there another Arsonist album, or is the Arsonist going to do any shows? And unfortunately, it feels like I'm going to have to doubt that because it's just not everybody's there. Not everybody's there as far as getting on stage and doing that. And the an opportunity that would make sense has not presented itself. And so the only thing I could focus on is just moving forward, getting myself on stage, getting myself to do more and moving forward. And waving the Arsonist flag on my own for my brothers. And that's it.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's dope.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, man.
Yeah. Well, Ultra, did you have anything else?
I just want, because we got him here. I just want to talk about this real quick. My favorite year in hip hop is 1988, but my second favorite time in hip hop is that whole like New York underground indie Arsonist, Cold Flow, Ill Bill, the whole thing. Can you just take us back there and just talk about how it felt like being in that moment, in that time?
In my mind, I felt like we were repeating the Union Square, the Rooftop, Latin Quarters, the Red Parrot. I felt that way. That was the level of pride I had because all of us was just, I felt like every group you mentioned was just killing it. And everybody was different from each other, and we were all touring together. We were all doing shows in New York together. We were all releasing consecutively, and it was just it was an incredible time, man. I miss it.
Yeah.
A lot of the venues are gone, and people have moved on. It was just, for me, it was the quiet chapter of a golden era to me, because there's loud chapters, like you said, like 88 that's one of the loudest chapters of the Golden
Yeah.
Era. And then when the 90s came with Grand Poobah leading the parade and leaders of the new school and all of that, and Quest, that was an incredible time. And then I felt like we were loud, but not loud enough to match wits with the previous, with the tribes and all of that, the native tongues and all of that.
Right.
But it was still like, it was a beautiful thing to just be a part of. And then the West Coast was doing their thing.
Yeah.
RI and Dilated Peoples and High Road was still banging away. We went on tour with them, and it was just, we were all like, it was raw, real hip hop. And then, Sean went and put a suit on it and ruined everything. Going back to the beginning. But it was just a beautiful time, man. And real rap for us, it felt like real rap was just really punching people in the face from every part of the map. It was insane. It was beautiful. Right. Even in Canada, they were killing it. It was Shaw Claire and all of them. It was just beautiful.
Yeah.
Shout out to Mocha O.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep. Q. Hey man, thank you so much for coming through.
Thanks. Oh man, this was a blast. I'm sorry if I was too chatty.
No, anytime, bro. Anytime you want to come and tell stories, please. Just
I had a blast, y'all. This means a lot, especially the day I had today. And then Jenny was like, "No, it's today." I was like terrified. I was like, "I better get my thoughts together, man." But the
minute you said that, somebody had just said, "Have you ever had people that didn't show up?" And I'm like, I think I almost just did.
Sorry about that.
Because you immediately was like, "Tomorrow, right?"
Oh my God. Sorry about that.
It's all good. Hey, tell people where they can follow you too.
The best thing, just go to qunique.com and it's got all the tabs for everything, just to make it easy for everyone. It's got the Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. I really would love people to tune into the YouTube page, because I'm telling a lot of stories as of late. I have a series called I Got a Story to Tell. I got 7 episodes on there, and I got a lot of little shorts that I tell these quick stories. So the YouTube has become like a lot of fun for me. But go to qunique.com, Q-UNIQUE.com, and it's got everything you need as far as the information to get at me, or to buy a shirt, or to listen to something, or to watch something. Everything is there.
Word out.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so very much for this. I really appreciate this.
At any time, please come back.
Let's do this again for real, man.
Yeah, most definitely.
Absolutely.
You know what? When the new album drops, the new stuff drops. Come
That'll
back.
be
Yes,
dope.
sir.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Now have a good night. Much respect, much love.
All right. Peace.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
That was fun, man.
Yes.
That was a lot of fun.
Love it. Love it.
Yep. Great stories. I got real quick. I got to shout out to Mindbender Supreme in the house. What up, bro? Good to see you here. So
he didn't even talk about CNC Music Factory. We didn't even talk.
I know.
About that.
I was gonna bring it up, but we moved on to the next thing. So I'm like,
that was good. That was good.
Yeah.
I mean, we all know it. We heard it before, so that's good.
Yeah. But he can talk about it next time. We'll ask
him.
So, good stuff.
Yes, so good. That was. I love that. That was a good one.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
Damn, man.
And thank you, Jennifer, for your Del Taco cup. That's the perfect clip. She was right on time. That was perfect. That's perfect.
Well done.
That was perfect.
Next time I'm in LA, I've got to go to Del Taco.
The minute he said that, I was like, hey, I just had that.
Dude, my aunt used to live in Santa Ana, and I would visit her, and I would skateboard up to Del Taco, and I kept the cup, and like the soda machine was like in the back, and I'd go in there and get like free soda all the time.
That's great. I had an announcement. What was it? There is a new, well, I think so. Should be anyway, because I turned it in. But there's a new episode of Hip Hop Gods Radio It should be on Mixcloud tonight. I sat in for our homie Flatline and played the new J. Rawls, Talib Kweli, Native Sons Part 2 joint with a little Native Tongues reunion, and then threw in like almost an hour's worth of Native Tongues classics. So go check that out if you want to get into a Native Tongues kind of mood. And let me know what you think. Yep. And also, speaking of Mocha Only and Dave Sy, check them out tomorrow night. If you're up late here on the East Coast, a little more manageable on the West Coast. 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Much more manageable. 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on Channel Zero. They will have the mixtape. I think they'll be on tomorrow. I don't know what album they're doing, but check it out. They'll probably be there. Friday, we got the And You Don't Stop radio show with me, Flatline, and Mr. Chuck D, with a host of others. 2 hours of straight up hip hop power for your shower and whatever else you want to listen to it.
He's robbing.
Yeah. Yes, that rhymed. And then Sunday, come on back around here to Channel Zero. Right here. Where we have the mixtape, DJ Soulbuck, along with JOJ and Ultramag 7. I'm not even like trying to call you JOJ. I just keep looking at the name. You put JOJ on there. So it's just coming out like that. Jennifer O'Jenny. And 8 p.m. Sunday night here on Channel Zero for the mixtape. Check it out. Soulbuck will be spinning the music of our next week's guest. And who do we got coming up next week?
Who do we have? Our buddy from Thick Crates.
Yes.
Our new sponsor.
Our new sponsor, yes. So I will have to, by next week, have the new logo made. Yes. Yes. All right. So, yes. Thick Crates in the house next week. And there's going to be a lot of dope music on the mixtape. That's for sure. Yeah. Thank you. There it is.
Yeah.
Pure hip hop satisfaction.
This guy.
Thick Crates in the house. Yes. Thank you, everybody, for watching live and anybody watching on the replay. And please, if you dig the show, like and subscribe to Channel Zero. Also, we dropped the new Black Medine video today, River to the Sea. It's here on the channel now. And since I'm repping Spit Slam, got to give a shout out today also to Chill Rob G, because his Spit Slam debut record, Empires Crumble, came out on this day, 3 years ago. So, little anniversary.
Can I just say something?
Of course.
When you did the interview with Chill Rob G, that's how I became a fan of C-Doc, because I saw you when you used to do your promos. You were saying you're going to interview Chill Rob G. I was like, oh man, I need to watch the show because I love Chill Rob. So
Chill
Rob, yeah. But you know what? The funny thing is, I've still never seen an interview. I missed it. Then I came back the next week. I missed it, and I came back the next week. But I kept on coming back, and now I'm here.
You did,
so,
and now you're here. Yes. Wow. Yeah. I'll be damned, man. That's great.
Yes, sir.
I didn't know that. I didn't realize that.
Yeah. There you go.
Fantastic. Super cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there it is. Yeah. So salute to everybody. Thank you for being here, and we will see you guys next week for another episode of It's C-Doc Again.